When I'm going through my clients' manuscripts, looking at possible areas of revision, I'm often focusing on expansion. We have to summarize our experience and we want to expand it. But there are times when you need to give enough detail about someone in your life, but you don't want to spend multiple paragraphs explaining everything. It's not really that important to the story. You just want to give a little bit of background. You want to give a feel for the character of that person. And then you want to move on to whatever scene you've got involving that person. And here's a really good example I found from one of my clients. And it's about a father, and just kind of summarizes him, not in a bad way. Like it's detailed. It's kind of like a detailed summary and gives a feel of the father. And then if you could read the rest of the scene, we would get a very specific moment. One moment with father, and he seems like a tough guy. But let me read this kind of introductory, quick character study of the father. A coffee mug, a straight pant, a clean desk, and a leather belt around his waist distinguished my dad from the rest. At the age of 12, I trembled when I handed him my report card, when I heard his car park into the garage, and when he walked heavily along the wooden floor of our house. You can carry the horse to water, but you can't make him drink, he reminded me every night in a stern voice. I forced my sleepy eyes to stare at my textbook. For 6 more years, I stared, trembled, and passed my exams. My dad shook my hands firmly. I smiled slightly and left Trinidad to further my education. So see, we have a lot going on here. We have a number of years in one paragraph. Now, there could be some editing here. This is a rough draft. It can be smoothed out and whatnot. But I think if you're trying to get a lot of detail out about somebody, in this case, the father, this is a great way of doing it. And it's very detailed. I like the idea of the father. He always has a coffee mug. He always has a straight pant. His desk is always clean. Certainly my desk at home is never clean. I don't know what that says about me, but a clean desk and a leather belt around his waist, that distinguished the father. And this author was also scared about giving him his report cards. Notice that I think that leads meaningfully to the idea about studying so much, right? Always like studying the textbooks for years and passing exams. So there's a connection there, an interesting detail. Also, when I heard his car park in the garage, right? So little details that really say about the relationship between this author and their father and him walking heavily along the wooded floor of our house and so on. A lot of great details here, but we fast forward 6 years later, and then he passed the exams. He shakes his father's hand and he's off to Canada, I believe, to further the education. So just a good example of a spot where I wouldn't want to expand all of this. I just need this little quick character study in one paragraph, and I know a lot about father by the time I hit that last word. So try that out. Next time you don't feel like you want to spend thousands of words giving character about someone, but you really want to focus it, and I don't know how many words that is, maybe 100 words or so, and just give the reader a taste of this person and then move on to some sort of scene, likely with the father.